All right, gang. I believe this is second time lucky. I am here with my dear friend, Debbie Hoffman. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Well, not bad. Seemingly, we have warded off the technology gremlins. I was just saying, I don't know if Mercury's in Gatorade, if that's the problem that's happening or whatever it is, but we are here. We can hear each other. We can actually see each other. Things are good. So for those of you who have stuck with us through our little technological challenges, thank you. Welcome. You are at the JVology Show, and this is a show that is hosted by me, Jay Fazette, the founder of JVology, the perfect mix of people, fun, and profit. The purpose of this show is to share with you brilliant members of our community, such as Debbie Hoffman, where we get to find out what they do, how they serve and support the world and the community, and a whole bunch more. Now, if you're wondering, so what the heck is JVology? I will let you know. JVology is a community of like-minded entrepreneurs that get what win-win is, that come together to really transform their entrepreneurial experience. And through collaboration, they get a steady stream of perfectly qualified leads at the front of their business. They get a recurring passive income at the back end of their business. And they get to do so working with people that they love, doing cool shit that they like, solving more of their clients' problems, and therefore becoming trusted advisors. Now, we do that through the show like this. We do that through our JVology Live event coming up September 22nd to the 24th. I'll put a link in the chat so you can find out what that is and how that works. We do that through coaching and consulting programs like Flow and Sale and a variety of other pieces. We even do some done-for-you services to help you get your business up and running. But what we are up to today is talking with Debbie. Now, I have to play our little intro simply because I really like our little intro. That's the primary reason why we have to do it. And then when we come back, Debbie's going to tell us about what she does. And here's the deal. Do not go anywhere, by the way. Do not go. I want to play my videos, but you stay right there because Debbie is one of the most fantastic and talented women at the art of follow-up. And one of the reasons why entrepreneurs struggle, why businesses can be difficult, is that people do not follow up enough. She's going to teach you how to do it when she comes back and tell you why it's so important. Okay, now I'm going to play my little videos. And I love that one because one of our core values is we are better together. What that simply means is if we can collaborate from a win-win perspective, it moves and shakes things in meaningful, powerful ways. And I'm going to play one more. All right, those things just make me smile. All right, Debbie, my dear friend, welcome to the show. Let's start with giving our viewers the 5,000-foot overview of who you are, who you serve, and some of the magic of follow-up.
Well, I am a sales and follow-up coach. People know me as the queen of follow-up, but I do so much more because follow-up is sales, sales is follow-up. And I work primarily with heart-centered coaches, consultants, really all sorts of entrepreneurs. They have to have one thing in common, that they're heart-centered and they're not salesy, pushy, aggressive people. And they're on some transformational path. Like they're just really awesome people that I work with. And these people they don't have a reliable follow-up system or sales process in place, and they're letting clients and money slip through the cracks. So I work with them to create a step-by-step process so they know what to do, what to say at every step of the process. Their confidence rises, they become more magnetic, and they have more ideal clients saying yes to working with them. So that's what it's all about.
All right. So I just, I love you, but I'm going to ask some of the sort of devil's advocate questions, which is this. As you describe that, I'm like, that's awesome. Fantastic. I so look forward to that. That's going to be great. But let's, how do I put this? Follow-up sounds like a lot of work. It's like most entrepreneurs, it's like, hey, I built a better mousetrap. Shouldn't they just like line up and buy that shit? I don't really want to go and have that do the make work project. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yes, great. I love that you're playing devil's advocate because this is what people think, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a lot of work, because if you've spent all this time, effort, energy, and money putting together your website, creating your programs and packages, you've got all your social media and everything done. You put all this work into all of that. If you're not following up with people, all that time, energy, and money that you put into those things is going to go down the drain. So when you have a follow-up system in place, it's not rocket science. It's just knowing what to do and what to say. Like people say to me, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't think of that on my own. So it's not difficult to implement. It's just people don't know what to do. People were not taught these skills. So it can be easy and effortless, but you'll be the best kept secret if you don't do this. So why not do it and bring more people to those sales conversations? Because I hear people say, Jay, that once they talk to someone and then they deliver their product or service, well, it's really the delivering their product or service that they're brilliant at. It's getting them to the point where they're speaking to them and having an enrollment conversation that they struggle with. So the more people you follow up with, the more people will get to that point and the more people you can serve. So mindset shift.
So if you were to give us like the magic trick, you know, from your perspective, the thing that helps people to shift, because I think like there's lots of beliefs. When you just said the mindset shift is what I'm attempting to say inappropriately. It means that they were believing one thing at the beginning and now they're believing something else. So what are some of the things that they're believing that's getting in the way? When you say it's like they don't know how, which I know there's absolutely tools and techniques, but there's also beliefs that drive
totally
why they don't. Talk to us a little bit about that, if you would, please.
Okay, so, and I love this conversation because it's so prevalent out there. Most people tell me that they're not following up with people, or they're not inviting people to work with them. They're not even getting them into the process because they feel they're being salesy or pushy. They equate follow-up with being pushy. Okay. And the mindset shift here is that when you have a follow-up and sales process in place and you're more consistently in touch with people, the relationship will deepen, the trust will get created, and you will have more ideal clients saying yes to working with you. People love it when I follow up with them. They always thank me because most people are not, because statistics show most people don't follow up.
Okay, so what are you doing that, number one, people love it when you follow up, and number two, that you know that? How does that come back to you?
Okay, so I'm an old-fashioned girl, Jay, and I pick up the phone. And I call people.
Not the phone.
I use the phone.
I mean, can't I just like send an email or a smoke signal or make a random post on Facebook, or like just like can't I just do that social media shit?
How's it working? You know, whoever's listening, how's that working for you? So yes, those things are all important. Sending emails, important. You know, all that's important. But to me, what's helped me grow 3 6-figure businesses is the old-fashioned calling people, because since most people, 48% of people will follow up with you when you meet them. That means like more than half people won't ever call you or follow up at all. So when you call somebody, you rise up in their awareness and they go, whoa, this person really is passionate and they're really serious and they really believe in what they have to offer. I'm going to return this call. Like people call me back. They do.
Yeah.
And when I email, crickets. A lot of the time.
And honestly, and getting worse. And this is one of the reasons. And gang, I want everybody to really just please hear this and like embrace this if you can, for this simple reason. Email and most automated systems, and please understand, I'm a big fan of automated systems, but most automated systems today, their return on investment is diminishing, and not diminishing a little bit, plummeting is the truth of the matter. And here's the answer to the question of what the hell to do. It is personal outreach based on relationships. And you know this better than I, but I just want to give one quick example, and then I want you to reinforce it with your years of experience. I get asked time and time again, it's like, well, how do you get people to live events? And it's like, well, I phoned them. Then I texted them. Then I made a personal message. And then I asked if we could have a quick chat. And then we did this crazy thing called talking. And when people are like, well, yeah, but I mean, like your big events, like where you put a couple hundred people in a room. That's how, like most of the time when that occurs, I've actually talked to 40 to 65% of the people in the room before they got there.
That's awesome.
And over again, people are like, well, tell me what to do. I just did. It's like, no, not that.
They don't want to do it. They
exactly.
Don't want to do it. It's no big secret. Like, it's not difficult. Like I'm saying, people want to know you care about them, especially the last year and a half, with people being so isolated. And like you said, emails are going through the roof. The open rates are plummeting. And so when you call them, it makes people feel you really care about them. So that's how I hear people say, thank you so much for following up with me. Because, they really feel that I care, because I do. And they hear my passion, they hear my excitement, that you can share so much more, verbally through a phone than you could through an email or a message. And if they don't answer, I text, and 99.9% of the time they respond through text, right? So that's my method, and it's working really well.
I love that. Okay, so quick question. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but there's a whole bunch of programs right now that, frankly, get my. I'm trying to think of a nice way to say this, and I can't come up with a nice way to say it. It gets my back up because I think it's slimy and sometimes shitty. But so I don't know how else to say that. But it's like, sell on the first day, sell in one call, don't do a follow-up. Like there's a whole big thing about push to close, like not now, but right now. And it horrifies me, just horrifies me. Talk to me about why, well, I can tell you why it horrifies me, but I'm curious about why it horrifies you and how this idea of building a relationship through follow-up is so much more powerful.
Well, it horrifies me because it's aggressive, it's pushy, it's salesy. That's why people have this, this idea about follow-up being salesy or pushy, because they've had other people do that to them. There's no relationship. Back in the day when we were networking in person, that people would stuff their card in your face and then hose you down with everything that they do. And it's just, get me out of here, right? And so it feels terrible because they don't even know about you. They don't even care about you. They just they're attached to their agenda, right? Yes. And they're just trying to get you to become a client. And so my whole philosophy, my whole approach, Jay, is coming more from the feminine. We all have that masculine and feminine parts of us. The masculine is how we get shit done, excuse my French. And the feminine is how we connect. And men and women, we both have both of those parts to us. And so people want to know that we care, that we're connecting. So my whole approach is coming from a non-salesy, non-pushing way, coming from a place of service, seeing how you can help people. Like you always say, you go first. Like I'm always sharing how I can support them and asking them and getting curious and asking questions and being a good listener. Most people are just talking all the time. And we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. And there's a reason for that, right? Because we're supposed to be listening more and asking questions and getting curious. So when I work with my clients, I teach them what to ask, what to say, how, little to talk about themselves, and just to go have the other person go, speak and share first, so you can learn about them and see how you can send them resources or support them if there's a fit.
So what's your favorite question to ask that really elicits that lean in and helps people to shift from it's like, oh, she's calling to sell me something, to it's like, wait a second, there's actually a relationship unfolding here?
Okay, so there's actually 2. My favorite question to build that trust and relationship is, what inspired you to start your business? Very simple question, but when you ask, what normally happens is people had a struggle, they had a problem, they sought out a solution, they got great results, they fell in love with this modality, and they decided to teach it. Like, you hear that all the time, right? Like, we hear it all the time. And so when you share that, and if people open up and get vulnerable, it's going to create that instant connection and trust. And they're going to think, wow, she or he didn't try to sell me and hold me down with everything that they do. She actually was interested in learning about me and, why I'm doing what I'm doing, right? And then another really, really great question that I love to ask, and I love to teach my clients to ask, is, when you're having, a coffee meeting, you're getting to know a JV partner or a power partner, if you're in that world, is to say, what should I, instead of saying, who's your ideal client, which is fine, is to ask, what should I be listening for? Like, what would somebody be complaining about for me to say, oh my God, you've got to talk to this guy, Jay. He's amazing. He can really help you. And that's how I phrase it. And they're like, oh my God, she really wants to help me. Like, and they're going, wow, that was a great question. Like they say that. They say, thank you so much for asking. So it just creates that relationship. And that's what follow-up is all about. It's not about being salesy and pushy. It's showing up in service, letting go of your agenda, letting go of attachment to your results and getting something from this person, and just give, and things will come back. It's karma, the law of attraction. Like it just will all come back to you.
I love that. You know, it's interesting that this idea of the power of questions to build a relationship. I don't know how many years ago it was where it was like, and in fact, you've even teased me a little bit about my bio, because I don't have a traditional bio, because for the most part, I don't like most of that, what I'm going to call positioning BS. But I completely and utterly stopped asking people what they do. My core question is, I really don't care what you do in the big picture. It's like, so what are you inspired about? What are you inspired about creating? And that and I get answers back from building a treehouse with my kids in the backyard, to getting my scuba certification, to my launch of my book coming up. Like it's everything. It just gives a glimpse into who the heck a person is, that then makes all the difference in the world. And then I sometimes am a little bit of a turkey when people ask me what I do, and it's like, well, I don't know. I've failed at retiring 2 or 3 times, so
here I am.
Yeah, exactly. And they're like, no, tell me what you do. I said, I don't really think so. but it just is a bit of a different approach. And I guess my encouragement and why I wanted to share that in the context of your 2 great questions is that put a little effort in. Just a little effort. It's almost a little bit like romance. You know, it's like there's a joke. I'm a Saskatchewan farm kid, and there's a joke that, you know, what is foreplay in Saskatchewan, and the response is the elbow. It's like, are you ready? Like that amount of effort doesn't go very far. But if you can set the stage, if you can find out what somebody loves, if you can get a favorite restaurant, if you can put a little effort into it up front, this is no different. It's like, do you want to elbow someone? It's like, hey, what are you doing? Can I sell you stuff? Are you ready? As opposed to, who are you? What's important to you? What are your real problems? And if I could possibly support you with those, I would. Or of course, in the JV world, I would happily refer you to somebody else, which is what I want to do, of course, with you. And by the way, Debbie and I are joint venture partners. We're in the middle of our joint venture roadmap, which is our preparation for JVology Live that comes up on September 22nd. And we have her content embedded in our process, because if somebody is having difficulty with their follow-up and sales, she's the first person I refer, because she does great work. And I know that she'll solve that problem for my folks better than I can. Yeah. So it's a big deal. So talk to me a little bit about, we put a link in for your masterclass, and talk to me a little bit about the masterclass. Who should take the masterclass, what they're going to learn, all those fun, wonderful things.
So it's 3 critical mistakes that entrepreneurs make that cost them clients and money, and what you can do about it. So I'm going to highlight 3 of the biggest areas that entrepreneurs struggle with the most when it comes to sales and follow-up. And we're going to go into detail on networking, because most people show up at networking events online or in person with the wrong intention. And like we were talking about, the hosing down syndrome, right? So I'm going to really be going into detail on that. I'll be talking about systems and how important it is not only to have the technology, but to have a timeline and to know what you're going to do and say at every step of the process. And then I'm going to be talking about referrals, which people suck at, Jay. Whenever I speak, I always ask, like, raise your hand if you consistently ask every client for referrals, and rarely does a hand come up. Once in a while, one person. So I'm going to be talking about the importance. I'll be sharing some incredible, like, powerful statistics about referrals and about follow-up and sales that will really give you perspective on how important it is to have these processes in place. So I'm really excited to invite everyone. September 27th and 28th, there's 2 different times of day for the different time zones.
Awesome. I'm just going to get the page up so that we can actually take a peek at it while we're chatting about it here. There we go.
I hope it's complete. I'm teasing.
Well, and I mean, here's the thing, is that somebody once said to me, and I would be curious to know how many of the people that you surveyed about asking for referrals, for example, I would be curious to know how many of them did at one point in time and then stopped.
No.
No?
Wasn't even on their radar screen. Like they're like, I don't even think about it. It doesn't even come up. Or they say, I don't want to be pushy or salesy. If I ask for a referral, like I've already asked them to become a client, now I'm going to ask them to give me a referral. Oh, that's too aggressive. And then they think, oh, I'm going to come across too desperate if I ask for referrals.
Interesting.
Desperate, I know.
Well, you know what's interesting to me, and this is the reason I was asking that question, was that we built a personal development business to strong 7 figures almost exclusively through referrals. Like it was all a referral process, and we had what I would call a direct but subtle, like it wasn't a big to-do about going in and doing referrals. It was like, hey, if this has been valuable for you, you should share it with the people that you care about because it's going to help you apply it, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it was simple, clear, and easy. But the truth is we built a 7-figure business doing that. And then somebody once said to me, and this really landed, it's like, it worked so well that I forgot to keep doing it.
That makes no sense.
Well, it sounds silly, but there's truth to it, which is, we get this sort of flywheel going, and all of a sudden we got a pretty sale in business and all the rest of it. And it's like we forget some of the fundamentals because we get tied up in the delivery, or we get tied up in the follow-up, or we get tied up in a process where it's like this thing that just worked got set aside. Anyway, so for me, when we went into the online world, this face-to-face request for referrals, we quite literally stopped doing. And we're just getting back to that grounding of, look, here's the truth of the matter. You have an entrepreneurial bestie. You have other people who you know could use for more leads. It's like, bring them to JVology, please, because it's the right thing to do to serve and support the people that you care about. So anyway, that's why I was asking that question. I wonder how many like started and then forgot, because I that remark may resemble me.
Well, maybe people who, right. So people who have built businesses and were super successful, and now, they're just kind of more coasting. I could see that happening. A lot of the entrepreneurs I'm working with are either newer in their business or they've kind of hit a wall. So they're not like where you are yet. So they haven't even been thinking about, they never really had anything in place. Mm-hmm. It depends on where you are in your business.
Which brings me to the next piece in terms of people choosing to register for your masterclass. So if somebody's sitting at home and they're like, I'm not sure I'm really ready for that, or any of those sort of things, like how do we know that they absolutely must come to this process?
Well, I'll just talk straight to you guys who are listening. If you're on a mission to share your gifts and get your message out in a big way and help a lot of people, then you need to be on this masterclass, because you can, like I said, you can have all those other pieces in place, the website and the great programs and packages and your service with product, whatever you provide is amazing. But if you're not following up and you don't have a process for inviting people to work with you, you don't have a sales process in place, you're not going to make the impact you're here to make. It doesn't matter where you are in your business. If you're new, if you're you've been doing it for a few years, you've been successful, but maybe you're stalling out, or you're super, super successful. Doesn't matter. I talk to people who are 6 and 7 figure income earners, and they don't have a follow-up process in place, and somehow they've just figured it out, right? So it's anybody. Anybody can really benefit from this, because this is fundamental. It's going to be super challenging to build a thriving business and to generate, produce consistent sales results if you don't have systems and processes in place for follow-up and sales. It's just the way it is. And this doesn't come naturally to people. Most people were not taught these skills. I just happen to be able to, this is my genius. I can do this in my sleep. Most people don't and can't, and they just have no clue. I just had a coach who's a sales coach sign up to work with me because she doesn't have the systems in place for follow-up. She's amazing at sales and she's great at what she does, but she's kind of winging it. She doesn't have things in place. So anybody can, really benefit from this, who's got a product or service to sell and they want more clients.
Love that. Okay, gang. So here's the deal. I am a raving fan of Debbie's. She has been a tremendous contributor in our JVology community. I think in its simplest of forms is that for most people, what I'm going to say, the perpetual pursuit of leads. The truth of the matter is, if we took better care of the leads we had and the relationships that we had, we require less leads.
Yes.
Leads are expensive. Follow-up is not. Leads can be difficult to find. Follow-up is easy to find. They're all already here. So here's the thing. If you're looking for a high leverage activity that actually drives money in the bank, profit to the bottom line, I can say this like 1000% clearly, Debbie is your person. Go attend the masterclass, learn what she has to offer there, and then you make the decision. It's like, well, wait a second, do I need to 10 times my leads because I'm shitty at follow-up, or do I need to actually just take care of the folks that are already there and the new ones that are going to come in a more meaningful, strategic, and designed manner? You make that decision, then see what you're going to do next. Last word to you, Debbie. Anything else for anyone watching, thinking about, should they improve their follow-up? Oh, I wonder, such a complex question.
You just hit the nail on the head, because what I teach are income producing activities, right? Like, it's super important to have a beautiful website, but you're not, you got to get people there, right? And then once they're there, you got to follow up with them. So the follow-up is the key income producing activity that you can do that will catapult your sales results. Like, that's just the way it is. And you can do it in a way that feels authentic and genuine to you. You don't have to do it in a way that feels salesy and pushy. That's what I'm all about. And I'm doing it I came from Wall Street, Jay, you know that. Aggressive, relentless. Like, I was in people's faces and I made a very, very, very high six-figure income, but we were paid well to be that way on Wall Street. It doesn't work in the entrepreneurial world. So I hit my head against the wall. I was networking. I was showing up in that same Wall Street way, not understanding why people were literally walking away from me at networking events when they saw me coming towards them. Like, I'm not making this up. Like, so I figured this out. I totally figured out how to follow up and how to bring people through your process in a way that feels good to both parties, where it's not salesy and it's not pushy. So I made all the mistakes, I figured it out, and that's what I'm teaching everyone in this masterclass.
All right, I love that. So on that note, gang, please go get registered for Debbie's masterclass. And for those of you who are wondering more about how do you meet other great people like Debbie, you need to get to JVology Live, September 22nd to the 24th. It is live and online. There's going to be a couple of hundred entrepreneurs, all who are looking to grow and scale their business through collaboration and joint ventures. And if you're sitting there going, I'm not sure I'm ready for that, I totally understand that, which is why in those 3.5 days, you will learn what you need to do to structure your business so that you actually can utilize joint ventures. Then we're going to teach you how to do it. We're going to hold your hand and help you make joint venture invitations, quite literally, with the hundreds of people who are there. You will leave with partners, which is leading us to the third part we teach and deliver or provide, however you want to think about that. The who. Actual real live human beings, smart, brilliant entrepreneurs with lists, with tribes, with platforms that are willing to share you and your message with their tribe because you can help solve their problems. So go.
Quick testimonial.
Sure, please. That'd be marvelous.
So I have a launch coming up for my Power Up Your Sales program, and a significant number of folks who are promoting my launch are from JVology. I've done interview swaps with them. I've had them speak at my networking events. They've invited me into their masterminds to speak and to be an expert trainer. Like, I have met the most amazing people in your community and have formed incredible partnerships. And we're all bringing in new clients and making more income because of your event. So highly recommend you all go to this event. Doesn't matter if you're new, a newbie at it, or if you've been doing it a while, or you're an expert. You will learn so much. And obviously, Jay makes it so much fun. Like, being around him for 3 days is a real kick. So you'll learn a lot and you'll have fun.
We do have, it is our catchphrase, the perfect mix of people, fun, and profit. And we do our darndest to live into that for the events. All right, my friends, have a great day. Debbie, thanks so much for coming by and sharing with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, and navigating our little technological gremlins. We got it figured out one way or another. We will see you soon, my dear.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much. Bye for now.